Greetings, welcome back to Let's Play AI War Fleet Command. Neinzul knife fight continues, and I have a new strategy for what is now going to be the endgame. And I had to do a lot of experimenting here, I'm going to be honest, and I was hitting a wall at first. The main reason is, no matter what configuration I tried, I couldn't find enough ships to just brute force my way into the core worlds. And the main reason is, look, I've got 6 planets. I just don't, if I'm going to maintain any defenses at all, and I could have gotten rid of some things, but not enough to make a difference. I even tried at one point activating one of the golems. Spent quite a while doing that just to see, you know, and they just overwhelmed you with numbers of high-marked ships. Basically, the conclusion is this. If I'm going to win this game, I'm going to win it with targeted strikes and with lots of warheads. I'm either going to do it that way, or it's not going to happen. And in experimenting with that, I learned some things. So, basically, here's what's going to happen next. I'm confident that I can take the core worlds. I might be able to take Haumea. Ariel's a little rougher. I think it's entirely possible I'll get stopped at the homeworlds, won't be able to overcome them, and eventually the exo waves will smash me if that happens. But first things first, we got to get into the core worlds, take those, and that's not going to be total walk in the park either. Now in Dagobah, I've got a battle group here, and this is the large part of what I was going to go in there and smash things with. We do have a new starship. Let's take a look at that. Where's my beam starship? There it is. And this one we got from taking over Dagobah. We got the fabricator for it. And it's like the beam frigate that we saw before, only starship version. There are no higher or lower marked versions of it. It just is there. So that's a nice little thing. But I'm going to send this entire fleet into Despina, and I have only one goal. I want to take out the Tachyon Sentinel on the other side. That's all I care about. Yeah, and they got this stuff coming in here. That's bad timing. But I'll deal with it. Whoa. Well, hold on. Okay, now, yeah, I just want to get that stupid effect off. Where is the Tachyon? I can't even see it. Did I blow it up already? Yeah, I think they just came in and attacked it right away. Okay, good. Everybody go back through. Go back through. Don't hang out in here. That's a freaking Mark V starship just hanging out and chilling. Yep. There it goes. That could have gone better, because that got blown up by their orbital mass driver. Anyway, that was phase 1, and I just wanted to make them blind, and honestly, it doesn't matter to me what it cost. I do get a reprisal warning. Now I need to put into effect the next stage of the plan. Okay, here is phase 2. Got the Cloaker starship and the warhead. And the other ships are ignoring us. They're going off different ways. We're moving our ships out of their way. They're going through us, etc. Because they are blind. Which was the entire goal. Where do you think you're going? Get back over here. So that's a little dangerous, because if it gets too far away, it can't protect and cloak here. But notice something interesting. They have, where is it? There we go. Core Warhead Interceptor insta-kills warheads. They'll explode without doing any damage or incurring any AI progress increase. But right now it can't see it. So if we just move this, I'm just going to randomly move it another spot in the system away from my... Let's move our cloaker the other way. And there it goes. You can see how it just disappeared there at the end. They had a bunch of stuff shooting on it, but just disappeared there at the end with no AI progress increase, no message, no anything. And that's because it was taken out by the Core Warhead Interceptor, not by any other ships. It didn't explode. You just lose it. So now if we go back, alright, here's the first target, this group right over here. You see they've got all this nonsense going on in here. There's our entry point at Dagobah, but don't care about any about that. Right here is where we want to get to, because that's the orbital mass driver. And this was my initial idea. I was going to target the orbital mass driver. I was going to take that out, and then I was going to bring in a bunch of ships. Ends up still not being enough. But if we look at this, it's immune to nuclear explosions. The MLRS is immune to nuclear explosions. And I thought that covered these warheads. Turns out it doesn't. If we just click on this and have it do the attack. There we go. Blows up everything around it. Blows up the mass driver. We only get the 1 plus 1 AI progress from the thing there. And this is partly damaged. 2/3 damaged. Even though it's immune to nuclear explosions. Only the nuclear warheads, not the lesser versions. Didn't realize that. Okay, so what does all that mean? Well, my plan is to just pop this system using the nuclear command, have that blow up as many ships as possible, and then come in and clean up the rest. In order to do that, we've got to take out the command station, but we can't do that directly because they have 4 command station shield guard posts. So we've got to find a way to eliminate those. Okay, so we've got a nice big reprisal coming in. We're not going to worry about that for the moment. I've just moved the ships over here. This is the first one of the guard posts, and I could try to send in ships to do this, but again, there's way too much swarming around. Instead of taking out the orbital mass driver, we don't need anything more for demonstration purposes. I'm just going to use the warhead itself on the command station. Boom. That's gone, but so is command station shield guard post. There's 3 more left. I need to repeat this 3 more times, and then we can go after the central target, the command station itself. Alright, so we've got the rest of the command station shield guard posts in here taken care of. The reprisal wave was no big deal. We have added a few AI progress through using the several warheads, but that's not that big of a deal either, relatively speaking. Time to knock this thing out. Warheads, of course, can penetrate shields, so we don't care about the force fields here. Boom. +1, +15, +5, 2 warp gates in the core worlds. How fun. And they're all gone. Now, we've still got plenty of stuff to deal with. You can see we've got Mark V stuff all over the place, but it's no longer under AI control. We've got a fortress which didn't take much damage because most of the damage went to the other ships around here. At this point, question is, what's the best way to do this? So I think we just want to send a series of fleets in here until we have enough to conquer it. And definitely watch out for the fortress. Alright, time to do what we can in Despina. And I've pretty much brought all of our starships in here. I've got the grenade launchers as well. The rest are starships. I have unlocked the Mark III, Mark IV Zenith there. And I just want to knock out as much of this as I can. Now, I did use one more lightning warhead because they had... they still got the tractor guardian. We knocked it down some. They had a few sniper Mark V guardians. They had a bunch of Mark V fighters clustered together, so I did take advantage of that. But for the rest of it, they got a bunch of riot control parading all over the place. See, 389 enemy ships. Most of those, it's talking about stuff like what's in these module factories. For the most part, we're looking at riot control. You see 61 of them. And of course, they've got a couple Mark V flagships. So I brought in a scout so I could see all that. But I'm hoping we can knock these out with whatever help we can get from our Neinzul starships and everything else. I've got scout starships to deal with any counter sniper activity we might need. Let's see how we're doing here. We're taking out a few of them. They've got a smattering of other starships, but just a mass of riot control. And so we've got a nice big brouhaha over here by the wormhole. They're down to 47 now, and now up to reprisal level 1, but we're knocking out some of their riot control at this point. Reprisal level 2. And how are we doing? Taking a pretty good amount of damage. I think, boy, it's close. I mean, do I want to risk pushing that higher? 22 ships. I think discretion being the better part of valor. I want to get out and then come back. Get out with whatever we can that we've got left. You can see all the riot controls do engine damage, so there's hammering our fleet ships. Probably going to lose those. But if we get out with these, can use those ships to defend against the reprisal, then come back in and finish it up. I think that's probably wiser, as much as I'd like to stay in here and finish this up. We've taken out over half of them, so feeling pretty good about what's been accomplished. And now we have another situation on our hand, because the nice big reprisal that we faced, I think I hung out in Despina just a little bit too long, paid a price for it. They've collected in Lachesis. Now they had 3 waves that came. There was a reprisal, and then there was 2 standard waves. But the bottom line is, here in Lachesis we've got a big ball. You can see all of this fun stuff. We've got almost 200 space tanks. We've got missile frigates, and most of them are low Mark 1 and 2. We've got bombers. Again, you can see almost all of them Mark 1 and 2. And autobombs of various marks. A bunch of Mark 4 for those. There's some hybrid hives, etc. All of that fun stuff. But there's so many ships. And I've got my flag or starships in Pretoria to sort of guard against any incursion. The problem is, how do I clean out Despina, the remaining ships in there, while still guarding against this? And I don't know that there's a good way to do it. So what I think I actually want to do is knock out Lachesis first. I'm going to use the same method that I used in Despina before. I'm just going to pop my fleet in there, knock out the Tachyon Sentinel, get out, and then I need to go in with Warheads, get rid of the mass driver, etc. Okay, Lachesis has turned into an utter freaking mess due to them releasing Strategic Reserve. We've got over 2,000 ships in here. All the more reason to take some of them out the cheap way. Now, the orbital mass driver is down here by Ariel. Right there. Right by another tachyon sensor. Well, that's not going to do us any good. Now, what about the command station? Well, there are no command station shield guard posts in here, but there is counter guard posts that we have to take out first. So that's our first target. It's going to give us a nice big reprisal wave, whatever, to our homeworld. Better to trigger it at lower AI progress than higher, and we got to trigger it eventually, so here we go. Now let me get the Cloaker starship headed away, and then set this thing off. Right there. There's your target. Oh, well, I didn't get the Cloaker out in time. That sucks. 106 ships and a Mark IV starship heading to Philomela. In 10 minutes. We'll rebuild the Cloaker. That's no big deal. But by that time, I don't plan on needing to guard against this system all that much, because the next stop is to blow up the command station with another warhead. Just to be safe, I brought back the fleet to Philomela, and we fought off that soon enough, and I thought it would just be a matter of wrap-up here in Despina, and then also in Lachesis, but that was not to be the case. Hundreds of younglings kept coming out of Haumea, and it wasn't decisively resolved in our favor until we got a whole bunch of our Enclave starships to join in. Now we've got a military command station up, and it's firing at the fortress, one of the few remaining things left on the map. Actually, think about the only one. And what I want to do is just blockade this. I'm going to put a shield up. Actually, I haven't done it yet. Let me do that real quick. I want to put a shield up, our best one. Let's see. Yeah, hardened. Up over these fabricators. But I don't want to build the command station over the fabricators, because I've got something even more important to do. I want to totally blockade them from coming through here. And make this a fortress system, and the one next to the other homeworld, Lachesis, another fortress system. And that's sort of going to be the goal here going forward. Next goal, I wanted to take out this Tachyon Sentinel and the orbital mass driver that's guarding it if possible, but at least the Tachyon Sentinel. And I brought along a few starships with a Cloaker. And I did sort of think about using fleet ships, but not enough punch really with those. So let's get the Cloaker out of here. It may or may not survive. And then I've got to activate the others. Now that they're within range of the Tachyon Sentinel, they're not going to be hidden anyway. And let's see what we have. Come on, take it out. There we go, and now get rid of that. Okay. So, we are not in a perfect situation. We've got some people mad at us. We're going to have to try to get out as best we can. We already did lose only, looks like 2 of them? No, only 1. And yeah, this mess is going to cause a whole bunch of damage. Most of them not going to get out. In fact, I don't think any of them will. Okay, 1 did. Only got 1 starship out, but still, it's probably going to trigger... Okay, none of them did. That may very well trigger a reprisal, but I don't really care. I knocked out the orbital mass driver, and now I am free to wreak some havoc in here. They've got enough ships. I think I want to set off 1 more to thin them out a little bit more. Okay, so here's Lachesis as we're about to come in. And there was a Mark V Neinzul bomber section over here that I went and took out with a warhead. Released a few hundred of them. They came into Pretoria. And here's the sort of aftermath of it. They had a couple golems over here which they eliminated, but we were able to stop them without too much damage happening to our turrets and whatnot. Between our Neinzul Enclave allies, our ships, which I put back in this area, and then of course our turret defenses. Now we have more problems in here. They have a whole bunch of fighters, and most of them are Mark IV. So that's an issue. Eventually I may want to send in specialized anti-fighter ships. This Mark V Needler thing, which is good against most of our starships, is in range of the wormhole. So that's not going to be fun. And the other thing that I'm concerned about are their Spire starships. They've got 5 of them. 3 of them are Mark II, but still, those things are awfully powerful against our starships. So I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go, but I'm going to give it a whirl. Okay, so I want to... Yeah, that's everybody. I want the group to focus on this area, and then I want the bombers specifically to knock out that Needler guard post. Come on. Well, they got it. It was expensive, but they got it. How are we doing over here? Yeah, we've lost quite a bit. We've got a reprisal coming, but no reprisal warning at the moment. Let's see if we can get back in here and do a little more damage. You know what? I think it's time to go. I think it's definitely time to go. So that was not the greatest scenario for us. Lost quite a bit. We're going to have some reprisals to deal with. I'm going to want to rebuild. I've got a new plan to up our energy, which I've been toying with in the back of my mind, and I think it's time to put it into practice. I wanted to take Lachesis first, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. If we look at the damage that we did, well, we took out 4 of their 5 Spire starships. That's not nothing. They had a Mark IV flagship. That's gone. They've got only the Mark IIs left. That's quite a bit, actually. They do still have a bunch of Sniper Guardians, but I've been bringing Scout Starships with me, so I don't think they're doing a huge amount of damage. They've got a Lightning Guardian, and we took out some of their fighters. The main thing is, like, their fighters that are around these other guard posts are not coming. So if we can just sort of get a group in here and go around and eliminate some of the other guard posts without ticking everything off at once. The only problem being those Sniper Guardians. I have to make sure I keep the scouts close by. Then I think we're going to be fine. I think this is doable in here. But I'm also going to want to try to bring in some ships to counteract their fighters. That only makes sense, as many of them as they have. All of that's going to wait till next time. Thanks everybody for watching. More AI War Fleet Command will continue as I try to pound my way through Lachesis.